Hello everyone, how's it going? I'm WoWcrendor, and I wanted to talk today about World of Warcraft, because that's how I got to where I am, right? It's because of World of Warcraft. And outside of my leveling series, I haven't really been playing World of Warcraft, and I was thinking, why is that? And so there's this big thread on MMO Champion about, what's it called? It's called What Drove You Away from WoW? And I've quit WoW a lot. I've quit so many times I can't even count. You know, like in Vanilla and Burning Crusade, I didn't play that much. But the one expansion I played the most in, outside of like original WoW, was Wrath of the Lich King. And a lot of people bash Wrath of the Lich King, and they're like, oh, it's when the noobness started and all that. But to me, Wrath of the Lich King, it just felt like it was what WoW was supposed to be, like in a nutshell. That was Wrath of the Lich King to me. It had awesome lore, because you had the Lich King, and you're like entering this like awesome ice land kingdom place, and you know, he's like controlling it, and you feel like everywhere you go, the Lich King had some impact in that place. And on top of that, there were very few daily quests. I have a problem with daily quests. I will get to there. And it felt like everybody was working together towards this like one goal of like taking down the Lich King. It felt like everything you did was going to end up with defeating the Lich King. And I also found an awesome group of people to raid with and like be in a guild. And that's definitely part of it, but I don't think that's all of it. Like the social aspect of your friends playing and playing with people you want to play with, that is a big part of it. But there's a lot of other things. So let's talk about talents first. I talked about this a little bit in my Let's Play. Talents in Wrath of the Lich King, you had your old school type of talent tree, and in Cataclysm, they changed that. And they changed it to, you know, like, hey, you get a talent point every once in a while, and then you can spend it on whatever these. And it was like, okay, that's kind of weird, but I didn't mind it as much. And then in Mist of Pandaria, it's so discouraging to just get a level and you don't get to spend a talent point, because it was like that for so long. And even though it didn't matter sometimes, like, oh, I get 1 point in my armor looks shinier or something stupid, you still felt good about it, like you earned something. And I think that's they're like, well, instead of having filler talents, we're just gonna give them to you. But in a way, those filler talents psychologically made you feel like you were achieving something, kind of like achievements. A lot of achievements don't mean anything, but I want them anyway. Like if I play a game and it's like, you got the achievement for hitting the W key 100 times. I'm like, oh, that doesn't mean anything, but cool, I got it, you know? It's psychologically rewarding. And so when you take that away and you're like, we're just gonna give you like 5 talent points for 90 levels, you're just kind of like, oh, okay. And it's still the same, like there's still like ideal builds. I would have just stuck with the old way. Now that I'm like looking back on it, I think the old way is a lot better, and it was just more fun to do in general. I know a lot of people might argue against that, but I'm starting to see it that way now. What else can we talk about? There was the start of World PvP zones like Wintergrasp, and as much as people don't like Wintergrasp, and a lot of that is based around one race would always control it like more than the other one, but with all the things they're adding in now, like cross server technology and all this stuff, you could have balanced Wintergrasp battles and World PvP zone battles, and it would be actually more fun because of that. And then you could have, you know, that type of thing where you get to go to the instance and being a pug instant. I like that. I thought doing Vault was really fun, and it was just kind of like, oh, it's like a nice little community thing you do together with all the peoples. I thought it was cool. And then Cataclysm, they did, I don't even remember what it was called, but it was like that new zone battle, and it wasn't as fun. It was more like an Arathi Basin. And the cool thing about Winter Grasp was, it was like you're laying siege on this castle, and it was just like, ah! And there was just something fun about that. And it's like, I don't want to play an Arathi Basin World PvP, I'll just go to Arathi Basin, or, you know. And I think they need something like that again, except maybe a little polish since they learned from Winter Grasp. I don't know, they have better technology for it now too. I feel like they need more World PvP ideas like that, where it's very structured World PvP. And I know a lot of people are like, but I like the days of Tar and Mill. Well, why don't they make a structure? I've been talking about this like forever. Why don't they just make a structured, like old school Tar and Mill battleground? Like, just let people just be like, hey, you queue up for Tar and Mill old school PvP. I don't think that would even be that hard to do. And you could make the graphics look better than they used to, obviously, but it's like, there you go. So that's another thing. I know that it's hard to make the zones. We're talking about zones now. Because in Burning Crusade, it was like Illidan, and you go to Outland and all that. And then Wrath of the Lich King, you go to Northrend. Then Cataclysm, it's like you come back here and things change. It was okay. But I think a lot of people still had too much nostalgia tied to the old zones. And then they're like, I miss the old zones, now it's ruined. And I think a lot of people thought it would be cool, and then they didn't after a while. Like, I still miss Thousand Needles. It's flooded now, and it's like, I just want the old Thousand Needles back. I don't know, that's part of nostalgia too. I just like the old one. Or Stranglethorn, because you just have a lot of good memories tied to it, and it's like, well, now you can't go back. Even though, that's just moving on. But, what else? Then Mist of Pandaria. The thing with Mist of Pandaria, I enjoyed leveling. I leveled with Jesse and got to 90 and like did some stuff, did some dungeons, all that, and it was just daily quests. Now I'm like transitioning from zones to quests, I'm sorry, but daily quests are just so boring to me. Daily quests feels like it's just a task list. Like, alright, did my dailies, check. Like, it feels like something you have to do now. While in Wrath of the Lich King, when they had daily quests, there weren't a lot of them. And it felt like something you could choose to do. Like, oh, I could do a fishing daily today if I want. Or I don't have to. You know, and maybe I'll get like the cool fishing pole. That's how I feel daily quests should be. They should be a maybe I can do them, maybe I don't. It maybe if there's nothing else to do, I can go do daily quests. That's how I want it to be. And that's how I thought it was going to be. And they've taken that, and they've made it into a necessity. Like, you have to do your dailies to get rep. You have to do your dailies here. And it's just, it becomes a monotonous task thing. And I think they've gotten lazy with that, to be honest. I feel like they've gotten lazy in that department instead of being like, instead of innovating something new, we're just gonna take daily quests and be like, hey, just do them. Do these daily quests, and then we'll give you stuff. And it just feels so blah to me. And I feel like that's part of the reason I don't like Endgame right now. And then you have, leave your like opinions on all this too, because that's the main reason I like doing this, is to hear back from everyone. So it's like, oh, I have a big following, so I like, it's cool, it's like we can hold our own forum in the comments, but it's based off this video. Whoa. Where am I at? I'm just in rant mode right now. But daily quest. Now let's move on to LFR and LFG. In Wrath of the Lich King, LFG to me I enjoyed it. A lot of people were like, this was breaking the game, but I actually thought LFG was fun. And I was raiding on top of that too, so I mean, it wasn't like, oh man, all these noobs are catching up. It was just, you know, you could queue up, you get your badges, and you clear the dungeon, and it's like you move on. And I feel like, I don't know what they've done, but it just feels not as good as it did then. Maybe they don't have enough 5-man instances or new ones. I just feel like it's... I would always be like, hey, I don't got a lot of stuff to do, I'm just gonna queue up for a dungeon and get some badges. And now, I'm like, I don't even want to queue up. Maybe that's me with my, like, not wanting to play my priest, I don't know. It's lightning outside, so if something happens and my power goes out, yeah, but that's how I feel about LFG. I'm not, you know, like, super experienced on it with this patch, so I don't want to go on and on about it, be like, well, this is because I only know what I've done so far. And LFR, to me, I thought LFR would be really fun for me, because I was like, oh, I just want to go on and experience the lore of the raid and all that, and LFR, that seems like it'd be fun. And it's like, I don't even want to do that. Maybe it's because I don't care about the lore at the moment. I think in 5.4 with the whole, like, it's the whole, like, horde, like, rebellion and garage and all that, I actually care about that and it seems fun. But ever since Deathwing, I have not cared about the lore. Like, ever since the Lich King died, it's kind of been like, here's Deathwing, and I'm like, oh, okay, he's a dragon. And there's fire, and there's other dragon. It's just, it hasn't interested me in a storyline. The Lich King was really cool, like, lore-wise. And I think that's partially because they already had a lot of that lore backstory to, like, the Warcraft series, and now they're just kind of throwing together stuff. I think Jesse actually talked about that back when Mr. Pandaria came out. And that's why I think the next expansion, they might do the Emerald Dream, from what I've heard and all that, and that seems like they actually have backstory for that, so that might actually interest me again. But 5.4 I'm hoping will. But still, then there's gonna be daily quests, and it just, ugh. I don't... You see where I'm coming from? What else is there? There's regular PvP and arenas and stuff like that. That's fun. I think one of the reasons a lot of people still play is arenas and PvP, to be honest. I think that's one of the biggest, like, factors in why people still play WoW, is, like, arenas. What else is there? People just, oh my god, like, graphics, I don't care about the graphics. So many people are like, look at the models. I mean, yeah, they're outdated, but, like, it's not, like, game-changing. I should make a video on this where it's just like, oh my god, graphics, and it's like, I might do that. I'm trying to think of what else there is. I guess there's the subscription model still, but they have so many people still playing that they can keep doing the subscription model. I'd say once they drop below, like, 5 million subscribers, then I would switch to free-to-play if I were them. That's just, if I was running the business, that's what I would do. Character progression is, like, one of the biggest things with MMOs and RPGs in general. And things like getting a high eye level, LFR, gems and chants, and all that, it feels like that doesn't matter as much anymore for, like, in this expansion. I don't know why, but it just feels like it doesn't matter as much as it did in Wrath. I don't know if that's because I'm not, like, raiding currently. I don't know if that's because LFR has become a big thing. I don't know. There's, like, I'm trying to figure this out, and that's why I'm trying to make this video. Well, that's why I'm making this video, is because I want to see what you all have, like, opinion-wise, because everyone here, for the most part, plays WoW. And have I talked about everything? Leveling is still fun, I think. I think leveling is one of the things that's still fun, but I still like old school leveling, where, like, there's no quest helper. You know, things don't sparkle. I mean, maybe you could have like a toggle option, like to toggle on the sparkling items or whatever you want. I think that'd be cool. But even when people used to get Quest Helper, like the add-on, like, hey, it shows you where your quests are, I didn't want that because one of the biggest things for me was exploring. And that's one of the biggest reasons I love MMOs and all that, is they create these vast worlds and you can go explore them. And when you streamline everything, like go here, it like tells you what to do, and it becomes very linear. That's what makes it so boring to me. And for example, that's one thing I liked about Guild Wars 2 that I think they got it right with, is even though the questing was pretty much the same, I knew it was going to be the same, it was still like, it wasn't linear. It wasn't like you have to do this quest, then you do this quest, then you do this quest, then you do this quest. It was like little stories put together, but you didn't have to do them to do the other quests in that zone. You could kind of just run around and do what you wanted. And you still wanted to do all of them, but it felt more explorer-ish, you know? It felt more like an adventure, and that's how it's supposed to feel. And I feel like WoW has become so streamlined with all that. And even though back when it, like old school, it wasn't like the greatest stories put together, it was still like explorer-ish fun, and you could like do the quest you wanted in any order you wanted, and a lot of times I would like go out and do a bunch of quests and bring them back, and it's like you completed a bunch of them at once instead of being like, go do these two, come back, go do these two, come back, go do these three, come back, go do this one, come back. It's, you know, it feels like they made it more, like I said, streamlined and linear, and part of the fun of MMOs and RPGs and all that is just being able to like go on a big adventure and explore. And I think that's one of the reasons people like the Elder Scrolls games so much too, is you can just wander around and do what you want. And I don't know, that's what I'm thinking right now. What do you think? Leave your comment below. I wanted to make this video because a lot of people were like, are you playing WoW? What do you do with WoW? And currently I'm not playing WoW, aside from my leveling series. And it's like, I want to, but it's just, I don't feel that like desire to like, yeah, I really want to play WoW right now. Like I used to. I used to quit, and then I'd get that like desire, like, hey, I want to come back and play. But I don't have that right now, and I'm wondering why that is. And so, comment below, talk about if you're playing, if you're not playing, etc. And that's why I might still make, like, I haven't made a lot of WoW machinimas lately, but I actually enjoy making story-based things, so I've been trying to think of a lot of story-based ideas instead of, like, how to win at PvP, because a lot of those are based off having knowledge of the game and stereotypes and what you experience, and since I'm not playing as much, it's like I'm not really experiencing anything, and I've already done a lot of those too. Like, I've made, you know, sequels to a lot of them because I'm like, alright, well, I've already stereotyped a lot of it. So I want to go back to making, like, originally what I made back when I first started, which was, like, story-based things. So, like, TV show parodies using WoW. I have a lot of fun ideas, like, based off WoW. Or things like what NPCs are thinking. I thought that was really fun, and that, you know, that's not stereotypical that much or anything, but I'm trying to get some more ideas. I think it'll be cool. I think it's gonna work out. I'm trying to like balance my WoW and LOL, if you couldn't tell, and like all my other ideas. But comment below, tell me what you think, and if I should try something, or if I'm wrong, just, you know, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm correct about everything. So, yeah. Okay. See you.